How can you ensure that your concrete meets the required strength? Well, welcome to this channel. Today we'll be looking at how to carry out a trial mix for any concrete design, like the steps. We're going to break it down step by step because I've been getting these questions. How do we ensure that this grade that you have given us, that we're going to be able to achieve it? It is not by using the mix of somebody somewhere and then taking it to your site. Materials different. They are different. The water content is different. The cement is also different. You can be using a cement content of the cement bag of grade 32.5. Another person is using 42.5. Another person is using 52.5. You don't expect to have the same result even when you're using the same mix ratio, right? So we want to understand what concrete trial mix is. So that will give us a guide on how to go about these things, right? So concrete trial mix is one of the most important quality control processes in construction. Before concrete is used in any structural element, engineers must verify that the mix will achieve the required strength and workability, because guessing the mix ratio on site is one of the fastest ways to cause structural failure, right? So engineers perform what is called a concrete trial mix to answer the question: will this concrete actually achieve the required strength as designed, right? So that is the most important thing. With this switch, even though you use the same mix ratio as some other persons, will it be able to reach, right? So what exactly is concrete trial mix? So a concrete trial mix is a preliminary test carried out to verify that a proposed concrete mix design will achieve the required properties. Let me repeat myself again. A concrete trial mix is a preliminary test carried out to verify that a proposed concrete mix design will achieve the required properties. And these properties include required compressive strength, required workability, proper cement content, suitable water cement ratio. Right? So the trial mix allows engineers to test and adjust the mix proportions before large scale concrete production begins. So this last statement is even talking about the trial mix. Trial mix is not something you just do once and then if you don't get your result, you leave it at that. No, you need to tweak some of the constituent of concrete. Maybe add cement, increase the cement ratio, or increase the sand ratio, or reduce water content. So all these things needs to be put in place so that you're going to achieve the required strength. If the structural engineer gives you grade 30, grade 30 should be grade 30 and not even less. So we look at the next thing: why concrete trial mix is important. Concrete trial mix are extremely important in construction for several reasons. There are so many reasons why this is very important. So we'll be taking it one after the other. So the first on my list is verification of mix design. So even if a mix is theoretically designed, the actual materials available on site may behave differently. Trial mix confirm that the design works in practice. Just like I said, if I say my grade 30 is 1:1:2, you should take it to your site and do 1:1:2. You might not get grade 30, you might even get higher. The materials behave differently, so you need to carry out that trial mix. So the next one is on my list is ensuring required strength. Concrete used in structures must achieve the required compressive strength. The trial mix helps verify this. If I, as a structural engineer, has given you that you need to do grade 30, to confirm that, you need to ensure that you carry out a trial mix with your material that you are tweaking to be sure that if you take this particular mix, it is going to give you grade 30. Anybody can argue anything online and tell you, no, I saw it online. This website said it is 1:2:4. Another website says it's 1:1.5:3. Another website says 1:1:2. They are all correct, but you need to carry out your own trial mix. They might be wrong, they might be correct, but you need to carry out your own trial mix to ensure that everything is in place. So to check workability, concrete must be workable enough for placing, compaction, and finishing. A trial mix allows engineers to test this using the Slump test. We'll get to this point. Then quality control. Trial mix ensures that the concrete produced will meet construction standards and specifications, right? So in the UK and many Commonwealth countries, trial mixes are carried out in accordance with BS 1881 and BS EN 12390. So these reasons why concrete trial mix is being carried out, they are very, very numerous, and they are like guidance, that is standard that you must follow to be able to achieve the required design strength for the particular concrete structure that you are building. Okay, so before the end of this video, I'm going to show you the steps, like a live video where the trial mix is done, the slump test is done, so you see these things instead of just looking at reading or listening to my voice, or just watching the theoretical parts, because you must have seen it in so many places. So the materials and equipment required for trial mix: we have the weighing balance, we have the concrete mixer, we have the measuring containers and shovels, we have the cement, slump cone and tamping rod, aggregates, like sand and granite, cube molds, water, curing tank, any other material that can help you. But these are the key materials and equipment that you need for a trial mix test, trial mix test. So like I said, there's a video in this, a live video, where I will show you how to carry it out step by step, from the batching to the mixing to the placement to slump test to the cube that has been cast. So you see these things and they understand why this is very, very important, right? So if you've not liked this video, you've not shared it to anybody, or you've not commented, kindly do that right now. You can share it to your colleagues in the construction industry, especially for students. You need to understand these things so that what you see is what is going to get stuck in you, not even what you even listen to. Especially construction, that is a very, very practical course or profession. You need to see this and you need to understand the basics so that you'll be able to guide you when you are taking decisions, right? So we'll start with the first one, step-by-step procedure for concrete trial mix. Step 1, determine the mix design ratio. So you need to determine if this concrete element is grade 25. That is what I'm working at. So I need to ensure that whatever I'm mixing together will give me grade 25 or more. So this may come from the structural design requirement, standard mix proportion, or laboratory mix design, right? The mix design specifies the quantity of cement, sand, coarse aggregate, water required for the concrete. So if I tell you this is the grade, you really want to now determine all these constituents of concrete: cement, sand, granite, water, and their quantities. So the next one is batching. You need to batch or measure the materials accurately. So this is usually done by weight to ensure precision. Some persons do this batching by volume, but by weight is the exact. And so once you are doing it, you are sure that you are getting the accurate measurements, accurate ratio, right? So if you are using buckets, you know that bucket is an equivalent of this particular weight. So if you are using headpan, the same thing. So step 3 is the mixing of the concrete. So the materials are placed into the concrete mixer in the following order, depending on how you want to do it: granite, fine aggregate, cement, water. Some cases, some people put water first, then put granite, put sand. When you mix, then put cement in between, then you put sand, granite, and the rest. So the mixer is allowed to rotate until a uniform mixture is obtained. Just as you can see from the image there, the mixer will mix it after measuring this, batching it by volume, and will now mix it together to ensure that it has a uniform color. It is workable. It is not segregating. So all these things are what we need to ensure before even discharging the concrete out, right? Okay, so the next step, I think after you mix, then you now carry out your slump test. Yeah, and then this test, you need a cone. There's this slump test cone and the tray with the tamping rod, right? So just as you can see in the image there, you can see the cone with the base plate, then the concrete in front of the technician there trying to carry out the test. So the step 4 is to conduct the slump test. The slump test is carried out to determine the workability of the concrete. This slump cone is filled in 3 layers. Each layer is compacted with a tamping rod. After filling, the cone is lifted vertically and the slump of the concrete is measured. This test indicates whether the concrete is too stiff, too wet, or properly workable. So when we talk about workability, is from the word work. How can I work around this? How can I make sure that it's usable? Like I can turn it without me applying too much force, or when it's too watery, I'll start looking for ways to gather or use for something to gather it. So this test ensures that irrespective of the fact that I want to achieve this grade of concrete, I need a particular water cement ratio or water content to ensure that this thing is workable. It is not too stiff, it's not too watery, and it's going to make me achieve my strength. So that is the main essence of carrying out the slump test. You will see in the video, just keep watching the video. You will see in the video where I illustrated these steps, so you understand properly how it is being measured. After the slump test is done, how the slump is being measured. So the next step is casting concrete cubes. So the cubes are in the dimension 150 by 150 by 150 millimeter cube. So they are filled with fresh concrete in layers. Each layer is compacted either by a tamping rod or vibration. Then the surface is leveled and marked with identification details. So I forgot to add that both for your slump test and also for your concrete cubes, they are filled in layers, quite alright, and then they are tamped 25 times for each layer, 25 times. Each layer 25 times. Then when you finish the surface, and then you label for the cube. Now after finishing the surface, you leave for like an hour or 2. Maybe I think it's a bit strong, so that you can now write on the surface. That is the identification, so that when they are taking it to the lab for compressive strength test, it is easier to be able to identify that this concrete is for this element, is for this grade. It was the date of the casting must be on it, the grade of concrete must be on it. If you are taking it to a public lab, the name of your company must be on it. The date of casting must also be on it. So there are so many information that you need to keep there. You don't just carry out this test and just forget that you carried out the test. You need to mark it. So the next step is to what? Demolding and curing. Now the cubes are left undisturbed for about 24 hours. After this period, the molds are removed and the cubes are transferred into a curing tank filled with clean water. Now the cube remains in the curing tank until the specified testing age of 7, 14, 21 and 28 days reach. So it depends on when it is time. You take those ones you want to test, take them out and test it. You don't keep them outside the tank, because concrete gains strength over time, and then water helps to activate the process. So proper curing allows the concrete to develop strength gradually. Right, so the water must be adequate and it must be neat. It must not be anyhow water. It must be neat, and the curing tank should be somewhere that nobody has access to go and wash anything inside. Maybe wash oil or pour soap inside. Soap attacks concrete, so you should ensure that the concrete curing tank is safe from any contamination and is always clean. If the water is dirty or bad, you drain it out and then replace the water to ensure that you achieve the strength that you've planned. Right? So the next step is the compressive strength test. So at the required age of maybe 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 28 days, depending on the age, right, the cubes are removed from the curing tank and tested using the compression testing machine. Now the maximum load recorded as failure is used to calculate the compressive strength of the concrete. Then after testing, the obtained strength results are compared with the required design strength. So if the concrete meets the required strength and workability, the mix design is approved for construction. If the results are unsatisfactory, the mix proportions must be adjusted and another trial mix carried out. Just like I said, if the trial mix does not meet the requirements, you have to do another one. And what most consultants do is, this trial mix you are going to do for like 3 batches, and each batch contains 6 cubes. So 6 cubes, 6 cubes, 6 cubes, that's like 18 cubes. The same mix ratio, but from different batches of concrete. If you batch this set of concrete, you cast the first 6. You batch another one, you cast the next 6, using the same ratio and water cement ratio. You batch the last one, the same thing. So we ensure that everything is in line. So as you can see, this is the video I was talking about, the batching of the aggregate. Here, this is the self-loader, a manual self-loader, not a full self-loader. So the aggregates are being fed into the bucket, right? So for here, the water is already inside the concrete mixer. Then so the ratio now, you're seeing that they put, this one is measured by weight. This has been measured by weight, so whatever it is they are doing there is not by volume. That container takes the weight, equivalent weight of what we've been envisaging. So this is they've already put 2.5 boxes of granite, 2 boxes of sand, then they put 1 bag of cement now. So this is the mix coming out. So you're discharging it into this backhoe, because they have other casting to do, so they discharge into it. And these are the cubes. You can see there are more than 6 there. So we are casting 3 batches, and then one is this first batch. We use it to cast the first set. The next batch you do the same thing, right? So mixing of the concrete materials in the concrete mixer and discharging the already mixed concrete for placement. So now look at the slump test being carried out. See the compaction, that's the layers. So they put this in layers, and you can see this is this. You see the concrete will continue until it gets full, and you are sure that this is what it's supposed to be. 25 blues, we call it blues. Ensure that you have proper compaction. Then when it is full, you trim, and then you can now remove gently the cone. You leave the cone gently, and then you measure. First, as you can see, it's moving it. As you can see, look at the way it's going to measure. Turn the cone upside down, then takes the tamping rod to make sure that it is vertical, horizontal, perfect, and then you measure from the top of the slump to that. So this is how to carry out the slump test. So you want to know if this is workable or not. Then this one now, it is the cubes are filling in 3 layers. And then look at it. So this is a rundown of everything I've been talking about. This is just the steps, so you ensure that everything is in line. Thank you for watching this content. I hope you got value from it. Kindly subscribe to this channel and recommend it to your friends. Thank you.